Hey, it's Chris Beyer.
It's Chris Bowling. What's up, CB?
Hey, CB, we've got a great guest with us from the AP Ag Vertical, Reid Clary. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey,
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
absolutely.
So Chris and I have done a couple of in focus interviews with people that are part of our rural community. We look at community foundation, we look at some of our small businesses that we work with, but your day-to-day focus is really working with agricultural clients across, I guess, really across the country, but really focused in the Midwest initially. So let's talk a little about your background and what you do on a daily basis for Assured Partners and your clients.
Yeah, so you say rural space, and I mean my travel is all to rural areas, so towns of 700, 1,500.
Yes.
That's where ag's at in this world. So my name's Reid Clary with Assured Partners Agribusiness, obviously, and so I help advise and counsel ag clients in the property and casualty space. So my focus and dedication is truly in the ag industry, and the ag industry spreads across quite a few different types of industry and different types of roles, but we kind of touch a lot of them within the ag industry. So yeah.
That's good. And how long with Assured Partners, and kind of what got you into the insurance world?
Yeah, so I grew up on a farm, grew up in the ag space, went out to South Dakota State, great ag school, played baseball out there actually. And so what got me in the ag space and the ag realm is I was working for a brokerage firm about 8 to 9 years ago, and there's some transition going on there. And I kept getting beat by these guys by the name of Assured Partners Ag, and that it was ABIS, Agribusiness Insurance Services. And I said, I got to reach out to these guys. They're specialized in ag. It seems like a fit. This is kind of an industry that I want to be in and pursue. And so what really attracted me to the ag space is just the relationships, what I've, my experience in ag, and, just it's a really helping industry. And so that's what really kind of brought me to it and brought me to Assured Partners Ag. So I've been there for 8 years now, shareholder, sales leader, and vice president. So
yeah, congrats. It's been awesome to see you develop, and certainly your background fits well. Another college athlete, CB. How about that? I think we all found our way into the insurance world. So when you talk about agriculture, I mean, you've got everything from farming operations to food processing across that entire spectrum. But what makes the risk in agriculture so unique? It's not like really any other industry. And what are you seeing today kind of in the marketplace that agricultural companies are dealing with?
Yeah, so I would say that, I mean, agriculture is a very tight-knit industry that really appreciates relationships. So
Yep.
I would say, first off, like my clients, what I love about my clientele is they see me as an arm of their organization.
Yes.
And so it helps my standpoint, to help advise. But what we're seeing in the ag industry is a total market reset. And so especially on the property. So we're seeing limited capacity in the ag space. And so the difference from, the ag space to other markets is there's really only 5 ag carriers that are specialized in the ag industry.
Okay.
And so it changes kind of the focus, and what a lot of these carriers are having struggles with is the property marketplace. And so what we're seeing is a total market reset from terms and conditions, also with rates in the ag marketplace, and a lot of it's coming on the property side.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of disaster that's hit, agricultural market when you think of property. But I mean, you're talking when you mention property, you're talking grain bins, you're talking grain elevators, anything that would really be part of that process that's just tough to insure anymore. Carriers are not open to that risk, right?
Yeah, and I think it's industry wide. I was reading like the Q2 market report, and this year alone, within the 6-month property marketplace, it is double the amount of what last year's was, and double of the amount of 10-year average just through 6 months. So I would say it's not really slowing up. And so in our industry, we're definitely really feeling it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and it's difficult too, because as you said, you've got relationships with your clients, but to have to deliver, I mean, in insurance, we deliver bad news. I mean, we have renewals that have increases, but I mean, you're to that point of carriers just not wanting to take on a client. I mean, you're to that point of having to think outside of the normal carrier market, right? I mean, go to some alternatives and be creative as can be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it the head on the nail, and that is that telling your story to the marketplace, and the thing that I love about our organization is we're very, very entrenched in the ag. So we know what these carriers are really wanting to know and look
Yeah.
for. And so, when we look at our clients and prospective clients, telling your story is very important. We talk about your property risk profile a lot. So,
Yeah.
what are you doing from a property standpoint? How are you allocating your dollars into those older bins, those older facilities? What's your CapEx, your preventative maintenance program, housekeeping? So we're really, really, I would say, working twice as hard this year in capturing that story.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And, again, back to your relationship, you're doing that because you built such a relationship. Your clients do trust you to do what's best for them. And I mean, you're having to gut it out, I think, is what you look at. I mean, it's a lot of difficult processes, I'm sure, to get to that point. So, I mean, you're going through that. Do you see things lightening up for the marketplace where, rates are going to stabilize, more carriers are going to come in, or you see this for the long term?
I do. So I will say that insurance is cyclical. So I mean, we saw this in Illinois. So I work across the Midwest, but predominantly I work in Illinois, and we saw this in work comp in the ag industry where there wasn't very many carriers that really wanted. And now there's a lot of work comp carriers that would love to write ag in Illinois. And so what I would say is it's cyclical. We've had the market reset. So I mean, from a terms and conditions standpoint, that older property that we've depreciated off our balance sheet for the past 20 years, 30 years, that's not going to go away. That won't go away. But we've had that market reset. So my hope would be we see some stabilization. And what I always tell is insurance is cyclical. It will come around.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely got to be a stressful time, but at the same time, I mean, that's why you focus on the industry, is so you know the ins and outs of it, and you're not trying to be a generalist in property casualty. You certainly are focused on what you're doing. So in those days when it's crazy and you are scrambling to find options for your clients, Chris, I know you've got the question to finish us up.
And hopefully Reid doesn't kick it back to us. But what's your motto? What gets you through? We were talking earlier, Reid, you had a very challenging 9/1 renewal date. What helped you through August to get to this point? Is there a saying? Is there something that you're like, man, I gotta hang on to that this week?
Yeah, I like to take an optimistic approach, especially with everything going on in the industry. And I think that, clients appreciate that. And, what I would say my motto would be is I was never the best athlete growing up, and I didn't have that God-given talent. So, in the ag industry and with athletics and now in my role today, I always just say, kind of that hard nose, head down mentality, hard work, get it done type. That would be my motto. So it's nothing special, but just a hard nose, get the work done, and put your head down and nose to the grindstone.
Oh, and I've seen that as you developed your career, and it's definitely been that. It's like you were a catcher or something, weren't you?
the most unappreciative role on the field, and so yeah.
Well, no, I appreciate you sharing a little bit. Certainly this industry surrounds us. So many of our clients support or are supported by agriculture as we look at our rural communities. So we appreciate you sharing a little bit today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, wonderful seeing you guys, and thanks for having me on. Appreciate you.
Excellent. Good to see you.
We'll see you.
Yeah. Bye.